In this video, I'm going to show you 3 powerful ways to get your children to listen to you without having to resort to punishment or bribery. Hey, my name is Dr. Todd, and as a parent, it's really important that we can get our kids to listen to us. Otherwise, things can quickly spiral out of control. We want our kids to listen to us. Sometimes we desperately want them to listen to us. I'm going to show you how, but it's backwards from how you might be thinking. Number 1, if you feel like you're not getting through, spend some one-on-one time with them first. Here's a real example from my life. And this is stuff that I already know and I preach it all the time, but I also forget. The other night, Valerie left with Brian, our youngest son, to go to southern Utah. And there's Katie and I all on our own. So we went to the grocery store to buy some food for dinner, and it was just her and I in the car. And there was no agenda, there was nothing going on, we were just together. After we'd been together for some time, she just starts talking to me about things that were on her mind, and it kind of surprised me because this was out of the blue. She started talking about boys and school and college. And I remember while we were standing in the line at the grocery store, she just lays her head on my shoulder, and she started being just kind of physically affectionate. She just wanted to hang out with me for the rest of the night. This all really surprised me, and we did. We just ended up hanging out that evening. We had some really neat talks, and she was definitely listening to me. Now, it was just a little thing. It wasn't a major event, but just that little time together with no agenda, just hanging out, felt to me like that brought us closer together in that moment. So what I'm suggesting is that just do something spontaneous, or you can even make a plan. Go on a date with your kid, spend some time together. Your child will like this way more than you think. Even if they don't say much, that's okay. Number 2, don't blow it by giving advice. When you're together, this is your chance to connect with them. And the easiest way to do that is to listen. I'm going to tell you another story that illustrates the power of listening. And again, this is just a little experience. It just sort of happened to me. But I think it happened because there was just a lot of listening going on. A few years ago, Katie was dating a boy who had some, quote, issues. And that's all I knew. I had no idea what the issues were. I didn't know anything more specific than that. But I did know that in a lot of little ways, he had been hurting her feelings. Now, it's possible that I'm slightly protective of her. But when we were talking about this boy, I kept wanting to interject things. Every time I tried to interject a concern or advice, she would get frustrated. She'd get really frustrated with me. She did not want to hear it from me. And I finally listened to my own advice and I just shut up. I stopped giving advice because I could see that it was shutting her down. So I decided I'm going to bite my tongue, and I did a whole lot of listening. Finally, I was able to say some things and she was able to hear them, but it was only because I listened. I spent 95% listening, and then at the very end I had 5% talking at most, but it's because I listened. Hey, before I give you my last tip, I would love to hear what you do to get your kids to listen to you, so please comment below. Number 3, finally, just verbally express your love for your child. I know that sounds simple. I think sometimes we need to say it out loud, and you can say it in different ways. You can leave a little note that night on her pillow. Hey, I love spending time with you tonight. Thanks for talking with me. I love being your dad. Anything like that is meaningful. I'll share with you another example from my own life. Not long ago, I took Katie out on a little mini date. She had been struggling, and I just wanted to spend some time with her. So we just went on this little date together. We just drove up the mountain, and then we just kind of looked over the city, and we just sat there talking in the truck. And it was this really nice little intimate experience. And what I did while we were there in the truck is I just let her talk. I actually bought her a couple of cupcakes, and I put some candles in it. So we had candlelight cupcakes together, and we just chatted, and I just listened to her. And I remember when we got home, I overheard her telling her mom, like, that was the best date I've ever been on. That was such a cool thing for me to hear. I'm pretty easily able to express my love to her. I tell her I love her. I tell all my kids I love them. But sometimes I'll do it in other ways too. And I left a note that night on her bathroom mirror, and I just said, hey, thanks for the fun night. I love you so much. And I'll tell you that note stayed up for months, and that I could tell that was a really meaningful experience for us both. So just remember, verbally express your love. And if that's hard for you, find other ways to do that. Write a note, send a text message, leave a voice message. Anything that you can do will be really meaningful for your kid. Hey, if you really have been struggling with your child not listening, start with these points. But I have more for you. I've put a link in the description to a free 4-part presentation that will show you how to connect with your children. Grab a pen and paper and click the link below, and I'll see you there.